Howdy, friends. Fast Eddie Lane from Beyond Ringside Sports Radio. Thank you for clicking on the video. Greatly appreciate it. Do me a favor, click the subscribe button. That way you can keep track of the latest things happening with the Beyond Ringside family of shows. Also, don't forget, BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, and of course, the Beyond Ringside Radio app for Amazon, Android, and BlackBerry. Until next time, once again, thank you. We do appreciate it. And thank you for going Beyond Ringside. Bye for now.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. It's a little bit too late around Studio One. I can't do the Gym Neighbors at full tempo or volume either. Son of a gun. Just like Saturday morning, I screwed up the first break. 4 minutes after the top of the 11 o'clock hour on the East Coast, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific time. To everybody in prime time on the West Coast, how you doing out there? Hope you're having a good time. For everybody in late night on the East Coast, thank you for staying up for a little while longer, live in a multiple location station. Welcome to the Shooters Gallery on Beyond Ringside Radio Network, live from Studio One. Yours truly, the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane, tag team partner from the Peach State, behind the promoter's desk, Shane Knowles. What's up, sir?
Two things. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you listening, as well as Stan and Eddie, and also happy March Madness. We've already seen Cinderella get fitted for a slipper earlier this season.
Joining us live right now, one of the hosts of Corner to Corner, now on Sunday nights on BR Radio Network, or the BRRN. I guess I'll go with that for some reason. I don't know why. Stan Grubb, what's up, brother?
How is it going, everybody? You know, I am not actually up to speed on March Madness. I did see where Vanderbilt got smacked in the mouth on their way to not making it in, but that's really all I've been able to pay attention to. I tend to stay focused on football, baseball, NASCAR when I have time, and pro wrestling. So you guys are probably going to end up schooling me when it comes to March Madness.
Oh, no, you were making a reference to that 6-letter N-word, NASCAR.
I like NASCAR. I'm a big fan.
Well, they are going to be...
You got 5 in the Big Six covered. So.
Whoop, whoop.
There you go. Matter of fact, for those who have not been caught up, the complete schedule for the weekend, if you have Fox Sports 1 on your viewing dial, so to speak, on your service provider, you're going to be able to catch everything going on tomorrow, Friday, March 18th, starting at, I'm going to do all Eastern time. What the hell was that? Oh, shoot. Okay, never mind. That was a production computer. Thank you, Monitor 4, for doing that. God love autoplay videos when you go to all these websites. Starting at...
Thought about it being wicked jamming the lines there.
I'm waiting. He said he could dive bomb us sometime this evening.
Ooh, with bated breath, we wait.
Yeah, no kidding. You got Sprint Cup practice tomorrow on Fox Sports 1 at 1:30 Eastern. From there, Xfinity Series practice at 3 Eastern and at 5:30 Eastern. And, of course, the Cup qualifying, yes, the Coors Light Pole qualifying will be on Fox Sports 1 tomorrow night at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. The Xfinity Series TreatMyClock.com 300 presented by Janssen. 150 laps, 300 miles will be on Fox Sports 1 Saturday at 3 p.m. And, of course, the Auto Club, there you go, the Auto Club 400 will be on Fox 3:30 p.m. Sunday, March 20th. I'm trying to remember, Stan, can y'all remember right off the top of your head who won this race last year?
I believe it was Kevin Harvick.
You know what? I don't trust myself to memorize it, so I will look it up. Ha-ha! Google is my friend.
There you go. I'm actually quite happy with the fact that we have had 4 races, and we've had 4 different winners, and 2 of the most beautiful photo finishes in the early part of the season. Technically a photo finish at Daytona, a photo finish in Phoenix with the Good Sam 500. God love Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick. That was just, I think it was like 1/100th of a second And these two were banging down the stretch, just like short track Saturday night. I was loving every minute of that one. Now, I hope both of y'all did have a chance to see that. Stan, if you had a chance to see it, your thoughts, especially the final lap.
You know, one of the best things about NASCAR, as they go every single year, they make these adjustments, these small tweaks that just really set the pace for the entire season. I love a good photo finish. I love when there's a little bit of question as to could it have gone this way, could it have gone that way. It was an exciting finish. I was really into it.
Shane Knowles.
I enjoyed it. I'm afraid it still gets lost in the shuffle on the Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr. finish at Daytona, unfortunately. I mean, I just didn't see the buzz about it like you did, I guess, with the start of the year, and that's no detriment to them. I will say, we brought this up before on the Shooters Gallery, I still have a hard time noticing when I scroll through the results, the last place finisher is in 39th. There's no more 40.
Yeah, I know. You know, and I'm still, okay, look, I'm okay with cutting from 43 to 40. That's good, especially on the shorter tracks. When you go to half mile, 3/4, or 1 mile tracks, 43 was borderline too many, especially for the half mile tracks and 3/4. But lo and behold, the new charter system they've got in play, and a lot of people have kind of left that alone now that the season has officially started. I'm sincerely not a big fan of the way that was done. Y'all know me. I am a huge fan of the single car teams. I love the underdogs just as much as I, back in the day, would appreciate Roush or RCR. And, of course, you've got Chase Elliott making the move up to Hendrick to be the fourth driver now, the 24 car. Notice Exalta has moved over to Dale Jr. And, of course, JGR with their four. You know, all the way across the board, I'm a fan of competition. And for longtime listeners, you know the fact that my father, I've said this before, actually drove and owned a car short track back in the 50s and early 60s. So I can sit back and say, even though I'm adopted, it's in my blood. So I have a unique appreciation and affinity for racing in its purest form. I love short track. There's a short track at Talladega, and every time I get a Saturday night off during the summer, I try to find a way to get out there. But, and I know... Stan, I know you're not too far away from, about an hour from the Richmond Motorway?
Hour and 20 minutes, depending on traffic. You know what? The one place I've always wanted to go is to see a Richmond race. I've been to Martinsville,
yeah,
and that is an exciting track. But Richmond is always fun. All my friends that have been tell me all good things about it. I'd love to go.
And Shane, you're right in between two of them with Atlanta and Talladega. Go turn left and turn right, right?
I was going to say, it's close proximity. It's about an hour and 5 minutes to either one, Talladega or Atlanta. And just one more thing that baffles me, it's a head scratcher. When we had a 43-car field, we had 43 cars. We limit it to 40. We can't get 40. I don't see how that makes any sense.
Well, we've always had a problem with starting parks, as they're so graciously called. And lo and behold, it's like, okay, it stands out more now than it did when we had 43. Because remember, when you cut down the obstruction, clarity is easier. I mean, the same thing can be said. And I've, of course, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And I've really been digging okay, I feel bad for a lot of the drivers in the Xfinity Series. Granted, Kyle Busch can't get points, but he can get wins. And he's already got three winners stickers on his damn car this year. It's like Kyle is just once again running away with things. I have not heard that much out of the Camping World Series, but still. And tell you what, we're going to shift topics because there's a blockbuster that I want to lay out there in a minute and a huge press release. So I'm going to say final comments on the NASCAR front for a minute there, Shane.
Looking forward to Texas. Looking forward to Fontana. Well, Texas, too. We're getting into what I consider one of the fun parts of the schedule in the spring with Fontana, Texas, Martinsville, Bristol, and Talladega. Really look forward to this stretch.
Stan?
You know, my favorite track is always Bristol. But, I will say this. Oh, I did look up the results. Last year was Keselowski.
Okay. I knew I hated this race for a reason.
Oh, it was second. That's right. My apologies.
Yeah. Why couldn't he have just run the princess out of the way? Sorry, for those who don't know, I'm not a big fan of the Penske. Okay, I'm a big fan of Roger Penske, just not the daughters that he has driving his cars right now in the Cup Series. But one of these days, they're going to go ahead and just get married, and Brad and Joey, however you want to pronounce it, are just going to go riding off in the sunset. I don't want them to crash. I don't want them hurt. Just axle break, car overheat, tire go flat, whatever. That's it. I'm just not a fan. That's me. Wasn't a fan of Logano when he was at JGR. And since he's been at Penske, it's just like, nope. And that subject is done for right now. If y'all want to bring it back up later. Got a nice little email in a press release from a good friend of the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. He has come on with us on more than one occasion. He has always been a tremendous guest. I am referring to the man who has been called the ultimate, the original Triple Crown winner in mixed martial arts and the UFC. I am referring to the one, the only Dan the Beast Severn. Got a nice little email from him regarding what was originally supposed to be a special event, a fight between him and Ken Shamrock. Apparently, this has gone further south than I thought. Let me give you this one real quick. And this is from a press release directly from Mr. Severn's camp. March 20th, 2016 at Celebrity Theater in Phoenix, Arizona, Ken Shamrock was supposed to fight Dan the Beast Severn in a mixed martial arts matchup. Shamrock will not be fulfilling his obligation. These words are in quotes that I'm emphasizing. His word that he gave to the UR Network and the letter of intent that he signed stating the date, the opponent, is something that he will not be honoring. Shamrock took $5,000 in good faith money, i.e. deposit on his guarantee, that he would show up and fight Dan Severn. He will not be living up to this agreement. Ken was using social media to make his big announcement prior to a Bellator event. It should have been the UR show and not Bellator he should have been announcing, in the words of Mr. Severn. Shamrock had already signed a letter of intent. He had already received a portion of his guarantee, $5,000. And the original date for the show, the UR event, was February 21st. Ken Shamrock, how is he supposed to fight Royce Gracie on February 19th and then fight Dan Severn on February 21st? UR show representatives reached out to Ken to question him on the Bellator fight prior to the agreement that they had for their show. Ken said to merely push the show back 1 week, he would fight Royce Gracie one weekend and Dan Severn a week later. The UR rep reached out to Dan himself and asked if Mr. Severn had a problem with that, to which he responded, no, not at all. But from a company's perspective, Mr. Severn decided to push the show back a month because if Ken was hurt, there would be a minimum 30-day suspension before Ken would be cleared to fight in the octagon or the cage. Fast forward, Thursday, March 17, 3 days before the UR show will take place. Heavy emphasis on will take place. Check out the website urshow.tv. Mr. Severn says he's been answering questions left and right about Tank Abbott and how disappointed he must be at how Tank didn't pass his medicals. So now the person who was the driving force behind this fight and coming out of retirement for a fight originally against Ken Shamrock, then against Tank Abbott, is not going to be fighting on the card at all. I'm going to use a direct quote from Mr. Severn. Quote, I stated that I would seriously coming back out of retirement for one of three people: Mark Coleman, Ken Shamrock, and Royce Gracie. The UR Show Network approached me with Ken back in November. Tank was a man that stepped up to the plate with less than 2 weeks' notice and accepted the match. The positive out of him taking these medicals is he is now aware of some health issues that he can take care of, end quote. But by the same token, for the world's most dangerous man to obviously try to do what has been done, Mr. Severn has herewith referred to Mr. Shamrock as, quote, the sham, end quote. Yeah, there's a lot more to this, and I am not going to go all the way through this because it would take us till the bottom of the hour break. But needless to say that Mr. Severn, and like I said, I've had some great conversations. No, I'm not name dropping. I'm just telling the truth. If I'm Ken Shamrock, I've got a lot of soul searching to do about the way I do business. I'm sorry. I had a lot of respect for Shamrock up until that moment right there. I know he's been a little bit questionable about some things from what I have been told by other people, but this is probably the most egregious violation of business trust that I have seen out of an individual in quite a while, other than Floyd Mayweather actually purporting himself to be a prize fighter and a boxer.
Oh, that's not fair.
It's quite fair. I saw the damn fight. I even bought a large order of wings and 2 beers and 2 shots. I spent money on that so-called dancing in the bars is what it should have been. Now, going around on this one, Shane, your thoughts about anything? Where are you at on this?
Man. I got to be honest. I only knew that one of those men was still in active competition, because when you name drop Dan Severn and Tank Abbott and Ken Shamrock, my mind goes back to circa 1998 in professional wrestling. I knew Severn was still involved in mixed martial arts. I had no idea Tank Abbott was still actively taking fights.
Stan, your thoughts?
Good job out of me on that one, though.
I mean, it's disappointing
Good
to see
run.
that Shamrock would just blatantly disrespect who he's been hired by and really not do him any damn justice. It sucks, is really what it is. And then for Severn to respond that way, he's trying his best to not run him down, but
There's more.
it's there's just so much you can do, and I don't understand why Shamrock. First off, every time Shamrock has fought within the past decade, he's gotten his tail whipped, and badly. So for him to just do this, one, it just makes him look bad, and for two, this is a lot of money. We're not talking a couple $100 just a retainer. We're $5,000. They can take him to court. He can. That's going to be serious.
I have to sit back and smile about this one due to the fact that, quote, there's a PS, there's a PSS, and a PSSS. The PSS is a few days after the Sham announced an injury, he then tested positive for controlled substances. Shame on you, Ken. What kind of representative are you to young MMA practitioners across the globe? End quote. And then the final one is, and this is the final note for me on this one, if y'all want to weigh in, you're more than welcome to, and Schmidtke, I'll bring you in just a second. Yes, you heard me reference the SS Schmidtke is setting sail. We've got the battleship. Severn goes on to say on the PSS, quote, I will be at the weigh-ins Saturday and will strip down and step on the scales. I want to show the world what a chemical-free, almost 58-year-old athlete who has been busting his ass with 3 to 4 workouts a day since November can look like. I will then be at the show Sunday doing a number of different things, a meet and greet with the fans, a Q&A with the fans, signing autographs, taking pictures, doing interviews, might be a judge for the grappling match, and the list goes on. This is Dan the Beast Severn, and I approve this message. End quote. Wow. Looking over to the horizon, the SS Schmidtke on board. What's up, brother? And what do you think about what I just laid out there?
I wasn't paying no attention to what you say.
Mr. Schmidtke, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Stan. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Welcome aboard.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and Shane's on the line too, right?
Yeah, I heard her. Yeah, I don't have to welcome myself to Schmidtke. The feeling is mutual.
There you go.
Did you just call Shane a her?
You heard me. I didn't stutter.
That's not a good start.
Shane, he's just pissed that he wasn't there when the wings were being bought.
Oh, let me tell you, that was a glorious moment for Eddie Lane.
Yes, it was. Now, Schmidtke.
San Diego Chargers.
Wow, you just did a Mad Dog Dan Sorry impression.
I did.
International Hands of Pancakes. I mean, pain.
It's pancakes.
Well, for Sawyer or the Chargers?
So funny. I love listening to Dan Sawyer. He's a trip, but it's hard to not do the International House of Pancakes thing when I hear him talking sometimes.
I've got to do this one because there is a reason. Since we're in shooter mode for the most part, and Schmidtke knows #HellDamnAss. Billy, you were on the road recently to a live event from PWX where the main event was a double ring single cage War Games match with some people that are really good friends to the BR family of shows. Now, but that's not the thing that you're calling in to talk about tonight. I'm going to turn it over to you, brother. Ready, aim, fire.
Well, even though I did call Shane a her, I will give Shane credit on the way he runs his promotion, and I will give Dan credit on the way they run their promotion. They have a thing in the back called a monitor. So in every match, you don't see a damn RKO from somebody. I saw 36 of them at that event.
36.
And for the love of God, if Wicked Nemesis was there, as my cousin I never wanted, I know how mad he would have been, and I can't say his words with the hell damn ass. But wipe your damn feet.
Hold on for a second. You get your wish. Maybe. Keep going.
Oh, I'm done. Just wipe your damn feet. If you're going to get in the ring, wipe your damn feet off. Don't nobody got time to roll around in your field. Who knows if you stepped in dog crap outside? You know, you could be like Shane playing on a horse farm or some crap.
Up, there he is. Hold on. Add the group call. Got to do this. And ladies and gentlemen, yeah, the gallery keeps getting bigger. There's guns all around this place, figuratively speaking, of course. He is the host of the To Be Determined show Wednesday nights on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network, Wicked Nemesis. What's up, brother?
How's everyone doing this evening?
So far, so good. Billy, do me a favor. Give the last part of that recap about something you're pissed about from the PWX live event.
Well, you know, people know I've traveled the roads with Wicked. We've gone to every little hellhole of a town you can think of, all the way to Americus, Georgia. And I've learned one thing from them, respect. So wipe your damn feet.
To which Wick responds with,
I've already discussed this with Schmidtke.
You can't cuss, sir. Remember, you got to keep the hell damn ass.
That is one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't understand why you don't wipe your feet. I don't even think people understand why you wipe your feet. No one wants to roll around in your filth and the crap that you bring into the ring. It is a respect thing. It respects the people who follow after you. I've seen people that claim to be workers themselves not wipe their feet. But I know quite a few guys that do. You got Eddie, you were there. I did a run-in at Peach State. Who I was on?
Me, Stan, Shane, Schmidtke, you.
Shaq, Mr. Knowles, how you doing? Grubby, how are you, sir?
Always a pleasure, Wicked.
My return to Peach State for my interjection in the Shane Knowles Simon Sermon match, I wiped my feet before I got in the ring. Out of respect to Shane Knowles, Simon Sermon, and everyone that come before me and after me that night, and everyone that come before me in the wrestling business. It is a respect thing. But a lot of people have no idea why you even wipe your feet. That's the point, is how they're trained. I was lucky enough to be trained by Damon Christopher, Brian Alexander, and Johnny Slaughter. And Stupid D Clown as well. Bishop and I had that ingrained. That's the first thing that they told us, and we completely understood. And in a battle royal, Eddie, you've been there. Schmidtke, you've been there. In a battle royal, I will wipe my feet before I get in the ring. I don't care. There is no excuse not to. I'm sorry. If you're doing a run-in, if you're sliding in, that's one thing. Like The Rock, you know, that's one thing. Unless you're Billy Gunn, where you just keep going all the way out of the ring. But Cedric Alexander, Corey Hollis, it is no surprise those guys wipe their feet. It is a surprise to see some of the people that we personally know not wipe their feet and never wipe their feet before they get in the ring.
Right.
And I noticed you can tell a lot about someone, how they carry themselves when they go to the building, how they carry themselves backstage, and more importantly to the fans and to the naked eye, how they go to the ring, their entrance, the showmanship. If you have no charisma, if you have no showmanship, if you have no respect, it's going to be seen.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to notice it, but some people will. and it's going to catch up with you.
Shane, I'll go to you first for a follow-up.
I would say just to follow up on what Wicked said, I know there's several mistakes I still make daily in pro wrestling. One thing that I've heard some of the older vets talk about, and it was one thing that I always tried to harken back to when I wipe my feet in the ring. It's also not just for other opponents, but I think it's a lost art that people respect the ring. I mean, that's kind of like the temple for workers. You know, the squared circle itself. It may be 4 corner posts and 21 2x10 boards and 4 steel interlocking frames, and it's, you know, pure in its whole assembly. It's our temple. I mean, I think it's a respect thing for the squared circle as well as your opponents to wipe your feet.
Now, I'm going to come back to you, Shane, on one of the things that Schmidtke was referencing a minute ago, and that was the monitor in the back. I know a lot of promoters that are kind of sketchy about it. By the same token, I also sit back and appreciate the fact that you take the time to set up a monitor. That way people can watch to make sure they're not copycatting finishers, high spots, main spots, heat spots, shine spots, all of the above, to where each match keeps itself with an organic flow all of its own and not trying to mimic something that happened one match previous. What goes through your mind from the president's desk when you have people that aren't paying attention?
Well, when the monitor first interjected itself, appeared at Peach State almost 2 years ago, I remember a particular worker saying, "Why are we having a monitor?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, all the boys are going to be standing around watching the monitor." And I said, "Exactly. Watching, learning, observing. It's not just about their match. It's the entire product as a whole." And I said, if guys are watching the match and learning not to do copycat finishes, high spots, etc., it's better than running around chasing skirt. You know, do that after the show, not during it. I've only been a benefit to us because it's made the locker room, I think, gel cohesiveness. I mean, guys are watching what other people do. Guys are actually, it's actually, and there's so much sarcasm and backstabbing in pro wrestling, as we know, but this is a shoot. It really makes me feel good when I see workers before a show, maybe an hour, hour and a half before the doors open, and they're complimenting each other and giving constructive criticism. And it's like, you know, you hear a worker say, "Where did you see that?" "Oh, I watched you on the monitor." And I just think that's a beautiful thing that people at Peach State and hopefully at other promotions that do this, that you're getting the opportunity to actually know your roster, the characteristics, and your, your habits. Because you think about it, we've all been on shows where you're booked, whether it be in the capacity of a managerial role, referee, announcer, wrestler. There's certain people you don't know. I mean, you shake their hand, you're cordial, you're nice, but you don't know them. But over time, I think with this monitor, and I'm not singing its praises as if it's the Holy Grail, but it's been to our benefit because I think it's helped actually make the locker room stronger at Peach State with guys learning each other's tendencies. I mean, I'll just say it. Jimmy Ray was a big, I mean, to me, he's like the man behind the curtain on that monitor. He's watching what you do and what you don't do, and when you come back, he just, pulls you aside and gives you a quick little thing. And that's something you can't do, I don't think, when you're trying to peek your nose out through a door or a curtain.
Wick, come on back.
Okay, this is a whole other can of worms. Forget the wiping of the feet. Okay, now, I enjoy the monitor. I had the honor the last couple of events of GCW to actually do commentary with Eddie, so I get even though I don't have my glasses, I'm blind as a bat, I'm able to see a lot. Shane putting the monitors back in the back at Peach State has been a blessing, especially at the VFW Fairgrounds. Those fans are so hot. A lot of people. Okay, first of all, I'm going to say something. I don't know who told you that, Shane, but to me, if you have to ask why do you have monitors, that's not a worker. That's just a wrestler. Maybe a very good wrestler, definitely not a worker because they are not working. And the fact that someone who is, an owner of a company, president, have you have trained as a wrestler for you. I mean, that just put the guns in my mouth, pull the back of my head off. That irks me. And I know you can't watch every match. You can't watch every match. Eddie knows a lot of times guys will pull me aside and be like, "Do you mind watching my match?" Especially Charles Sanders, Dylan Cook, those guys, Ace as well. I will break down their matches. Everybody knows I'm very critical of matches because I should be. And somebody has to tell them when they're doing right. Somebody has to tell them when they're doing wrong. I have been at events where there was a monitor present, and nobody except myself and Clyde be the only ones watching the monitor. Everybody else is on their phone. Everybody else is over there, shooting the crap. Everybody's over there, trying to get somebody's attention out in the audience. They're out walking around, still in heat, trying to sell autographs in the middle of somebody else's match. They're walking in and out of the babyface and heel doors all the damn time to go smoke a cigarette, like it can't freaking wait. The monitor is there and used as a device. I've seen people watch a monitor just sitting there and then copy the match right after them.
Yeah.
I've seen it at GCW, and it drives me insane. I'm like, weren't you just watching the monitor? Yeah, man. Yeah. Did you see my match? Yeah, I also saw the match right before it where you copied the exact same spine buster. Why?
Now, hold on. I'm going to shift over for a second. Stan, I'm bringing you in from the grandstand's perspective. When you see a show where you've got a match that does a particular, where you've got, it's not uncommon for certain moves. Of course, if you take out every match if you take a headlock out of the second, third, and fourth match, guess what? You've taken away part of the opening, or that top wrist lock, or the hammer lock, or whatever. But when you've seen major spots occur in a match, and then all of a sudden the next match does practically the same thing, how quick are you to notice that?
Oh, it's pretty easy to find. It's pretty easy to see. It's unfortunate, but we actually see it a lot in Ring of Honor and TNA. Not necessarily the whole match. I have seen people try to ridiculously rip off an entire match thinking they could do it better. But when you see it on television, it's even worse. So you see it live, and you understand the basics of the story of what they're trying to pull off. But, from my perspective, the only thing that I know of is what you guys have told me in the past and what I've seen in, little documentary type things. But where guys are talking, all right, well, we're going to work the leg in this match. You guys work the neck, blah, 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 blah. The thing that I notice is when people think that they can do the same high spot and do it better than somebody else. For example, like Evan Bourne Matt Sydal, does a flawless shooting star press, right?
Right.
And then 2 matches later, you'll see somebody else try to do it, and they'll botch it horribly. And you know that they're watching in the back going, what in the hell? That you have to. So fans are going to see it, and they're going to smell it right away.
Right.
It's silly because it doesn't do anybody any good. And if anything, it makes the guy that's doing after, doing the thing after this person did it originally, it makes them look even worse. And I don't see how that could ever benefit any professional or supposed professional.
You are listening to the Beyond Ringside Shooters Gallery special Thursday night edition, and I'm going to put a special emphasis on the. Why? Because I can on this one, with the announcer, the promoter, the fan, the security, the manager, all of the above. Oh, gee, let me ask a question. If you're channel surfing on different shows around the web, can they match this lineup? I didn't think so. Going to the quick break. We'll be back in 2 right here. The Shooters Gallery continues on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Country Jack, Corey Hollis, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Evan Ginsberg, associate producer of the movie The Wrestler.
host of Legends Radio and Legends TV, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
This is Larry Goodman, GWH News and Notes, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
This is Super Cop Dick Justice, America's favorite wrestler, American-born hero. And right now, like a stiff bear hug, you are locked into Beyond Ringside.
Welcome back into the Shooters Gallery, 17th day of March 2016. Let's run this table real quick. Fast Eddie Lane in Studio 1, and I'm going to drop the locations. Welcoming back Shane Knowles.
Good to be back there. And then there were more than we started with.
From corner to corner, Stan Grubb.
What's up? 1/3 of the triple threat in the house.
From over in the corner and also behind the driver's wheel, you never know when you're going to be even more secure. What's up, the SS Schmidtke?
I'm here.
From the To Be Determined show, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis.
Lord, give me 5 for 10, 10 for 5, 4 for 3, 3 for 6, 6 for 2. Bingo.
And there's still an old VHS in that sumbitch somewhere too. But you heard the last thing that was in the commercial that in the stop set that we ran, and of course, if you're listening on the replay site, and I'm going to leave it in there. What the hell, yeah. For those of you who are actually worried right now, Powerball sitting at $80 million, and somebody just hit Mega Millions a week and a half ago, so it's up to $25 million. So hey, if one of those numbers was yours, congratulations. If the red ball was yours, that means you won $1.
Womp, womp.
Congratulations. That's all I got to say about that. Want to go ahead and drop this one out real quick. Special thank you to Phil Stamper for hanging out. I'm actually hanging out. He's one of the co-hosts on Back to Basics. This coming, thank you, Saturday, March 19th, Rage TV presents the 2016 Spring Fever Tour from Maryland Championship Wrestling. It's going to be at the Frederick Indoor Sports Center, 1845 Brookfield Court in Frederick, Maryland. Bell time 8 p.m. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Special meet and greets going on with Billy Gunn, i.e. Kip Sop, and Tommy Dreamer, as well as the entire roster for Maryland Championship Wrestling. One of the feature matches is going to be Brandon Scott taking on Jason the Gift Kincaid. Folks, if you are anywhere close to Frederick, Maryland, this coming Saturday, I guarantee you it is going to be a phenomenal event. The Prophet Jeremiah, Phoenix Fury, the Hellcats, the Guns for Hire with Kevin Eck, the Ectorage will be there, Ken Dixon, Billy Gunn, the Bruiser, Ryo, the Appalachian Outlaws, Colonel Callahan, Ivy Woods. They have got a tremendous lineup. I've watched some of their events. If you get a chance to, check them out. Maryland Championship Wrestling. We're also going to be covering a little bit more in depth. We talked about it last night on TBD, talked about it a little bit on Back to Basics this past Tuesday. For our friends in the Peach State of Georgia, you're going to have 2 great shows on 2 nights, starting with Saturday, March 19th, Carrollton, Georgia, the VFW Fairgrounds. The quest to be the best tournament continues to determine a new PWA Heritage champion. Tommy Too Much versus Kevin Blue. Bill the Butcher versus Chris Spectra. The French sensation Romeo versus Kyle Matthews. Tyson Dean taking on P-Dog. And that's still first round matchups. And we got some more events we're going to be covering as the show progresses, including this weekend's live event from Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, Fish and Grits. That's the good word I'm not going to say unless I'm on TBD, which we almost said it last night. Speaking of, special thank you to Team IOU, Nick, Iggy, and Carrie Awful. I love these guys for coming on TBD last night, and I'm sure Wick definitely echoes that sentiment. Always a blast to have Nick and Carrie on. Balls up. Ready, aim, pull. Shane, ball's in your court.
Okay, this is for all of us. I shouldn't say hey, because I actually look forward to this. With this many different opinions, with this much experience from so many different avenues around the business. Eddie and I covered this Tuesday night. March the 26th, which is right around the corner, will be the 15-year anniversary of the ceasing of operations of WCW World Championship Wrestling as we know it. If this was a wedding anniversary, number 15 would be the Crystal wedding, I do believe, but sadly it was a funeral. But we've all got our own perspective, and I mean, there's been books written, The Death of WCW, tons of YouTube videos, so many different, like I said, books, columns, pamphlets, whatever. I just wanted to shoot it around the table here, and not just one thing, because as we all know, I don't think one thing critically kills a company, a promotion, even at the independent level. But if each person could name two things that maybe WCW should not have done, or things they should have done, that would have helped them flourish. Now, I'm not going to say they would still be around in 2016, but they would have lasted longer than ceasing operations in 2001.
Do you want to take point and start?
Oh, I would actually like to go around last or next
Okay.
last. I'm curious to see if anybody has the same as myself.
I will go to Stan Grubb first.
Wow. Well, I'll answer both. Two things that they should have done. What they should have done was not. Dang, I want to word this right. What they should have done was avoid David Arquette. And what they also should have done was make a formidable faction to oppose the NWO. What they shouldn't have done, hire Vince Russo and give Hulk Hogan creative control on his contract extension.
Billy Schmidtke.
What?
I knew that was coming. Your perspective on the question, bro.
Search it up because I can't use my regular mouth. They shouldn't have had nothing to do with Hogan. Maybe his sex tape, something might have helped them, but other than that, they should have got rid of him. And David Arquette as a champion, no. That's like me saying, I'm a supermodel and I weigh 100 pounds. It's just wrong. And that's all I got to say.
Wicked Nemesis.
Okay, put me on the clock. Give me about 5 minutes on this.
I'll give you 3.
First of all, creative control is what it was all about.
Damn.
Giving so many people creative control was where they messed up. That and guaranteed contracts.
Damn.
Up until then, you were paid to wrestle. You weren't paid to sit home. Okay. The best thing that could happen to WCW was for them to bring in Hogan. The worst thing that they could have done was keep him on top for so long. They didn't push any of their younger guys. They didn't push any young guys at all. None. That's why they were able to go so far into WWE, because WWE was pushing young guys. They were pushing ex-WCW talent. So since they were pushing that, you had all these guys that were getting these fat contracts. You had them having creative control, all the NWO. When you make a heel faction, what is the job of the heel faction? The only reason the Merchants of Death was put together at first, like the original incarnation, was to do what? Eddie.
I'm still steaming over here. Go ahead.
Anyways.
Put people over.
Free production chat.
To put people over. That's it. Not to put yourself over. You don't put a heel faction together to make them dominant. You put a heel faction over to put over a bunch of baby faces.
Yep.
That's it. And you know what? One of the heels is probably going to turn babyface, because guess what? One person's going to shine out of that group. That's their only reason. But nope, you got to add everybody into it. You got to make the Wolfpack. You got to make the NWO black and white. You got to combine them. You got to have Hogan do the finger poke of doom. Terrible idea. I mean, that's what it was. That's what giving creative control and guaranteed contracts to too many people, not pushing younger talent. What they should have done is had Goldberg go undefeated.
Read production chat and scroll back 3 lines.
Okay. All right.
And you'll
I
pop.
will 1 second, sir.
Okay.
But yes, Goldberg. Why have Kevin Nash beat him? That was insane. That was a terrible booking. And then they had all these guys up top, all these old school guys that were trying to do stuff, and they had no idea who to answer to. The stories are abundant of them running around for 2 minutes, before Showtime changing stuff. You show up 2 hours beforehand. Nobody knows anything that's going on. Eric Bischoff wanted to ride around with everybody on his Harley instead of making stars. He's like, let's bring in all these ex-WWF talent. Done.
And everybody was working drunk there, too.
Well, they were more than drunk.
Half of them were at the Phoenix Lounge before and after the show, and that's down by the Ramada Inn Airport. Oh, damn, did I say that? Now, 1. In most circumstances, when it comes to a product of that ilk, never give an active wrestler who's working top tier the book. This can be pulled off on more localized promotions or regional promotions. But the active penchant, Kevin Nash, is to put yourself over with the title or keep yourself in the top tier storyline by any means necessary. I'm a huge Kevin Nash fan. Do not get me wrong. But you knew when Nash had the book because Nash put himself over with the belt. Or somebody in the clique kept the title. I agree wholeheartedly. Now, let me go back to this previous one for a second. The ultimate example of this, and Wick thinks I'm going to say certain 3 letters, but I'm not, is TNA. Because if you go back to the inception of Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, anytime they hit a milestone or a new broadcast venue, Jeff Jarrett just happened to win the damn title back. They go from the 2-hour pay-per-views to Fox Sports or the Nashville Network or whatever network it was at the time. Lo and behold, Jeff Jarrett gets the belt. Every time they have a major milestone or a shift, Jeff Jarrett put the belt back on his own waist. You can't always do that with a televised promotion. You have to maintain a core at the top tier. And if anybody doesn't want to say there are tiers or levels involved in a pro wrestling promotion, I don't want what you're smoking because I'm getting better stuff.
Eddie, but the reason why Jarrett put himself over like that, it was because he was a face that the sponsors saw.
Right. I understand that. I understand that.
He did that, though.
I understand that. But by the same token, he would normally be in a heel role. And the worst thing that Jarrett did was try to build top tier baby faces because there were times when it just did not work. Hey, Vince, took a lesson. I agree wholeheartedly with the guaranteed contracts. That was the other part of my, actually, you got me on the creative card and you got me on the guaranteed contracts. Those were the first 2 in my playbook. F word, F word, F word. Guaranteed contracts don't work in the NFL, don't work in Major League Baseball, don't work in the NBA, and they have salary caps for the most part. Why in the hell do you think they're going to work in pro wrestling? There are supposed to be incentives around to continue to build the product. I have seen on more than one occasion someone leave a company, go to a new company, and they feel a sense of entitlement because of the way that they were brought in. That is the worst thing that the fans can see. You know when you've got somebody who's hungry to succeed in the business, drink, because of what they do on the microphone, in front of the camera, and in the ring. And then you have the flip side of that coin, where you have people who feel that sense of entitlement. I used to work for the Fed. Whoop-de-damn-to-do. They let you go for a reason, didn't they? The other one, I'm sorry. I have to say this because I am a complete jerk about this. There is no circumstance Eric Bischoff, Vince Russo, even Vince, Hunter, and Steph in the Authority. An authority figure, heel or face, should not be on air more than the top tier talent of the company. When the authority figure monopolizes Bischoff, and just fans get tired of the flagrant abuse of power by an antagonist authority figure. Once a night's fine. Once an hour? Once every quarter hour? Hell no. Too many. Oh, and by the way, perfect example on your thing about the heel faction. Note Ole Anderson, first one to leave the Horsemen to turn face. Number 2, Lex after the flip. After the flip by Barry Windham. Lex turned face, all of the above after the deal with Nikita. That was it. But yeah, there were a ton of things. And yeah, now they did put over young talent, new talent, but they did it in the bottom of the viewing scale hours. They kept the focus grouped primetime slots for the top tier talent because that's what they felt was going to keep the ratings. They didn't take a lesson from ECW. They just raided their locker room. Shane, back to you.
Well, subject near and dear to my heart, I think one thing they should not have done, and you saw this with the swing of the pendulum in ratings, probably look like a good idea in retrospect when you're on top and you feel snarky enough to give away a WWF taped result that Mankind would be winning the world title, not thinking that people are invested in a world title finish or a change of the belt. And you saw that being, from that point forward, WCW never won another week in the ratings war of the Monday Night Wars. 2, what Wicked spoke of, the finger poke of doom. I've never felt, and I know it's hell damn ass, but I'm going to, I just got to say it. You can believe it if you need to. I've never felt more shit on as a fan of pro wrestling than when I watched that night. That was a slap in the face for any reason. Like my friend Dave Wills, why I ever thought it was real to me, why I ever invested anything in pro wrestling to have that. 3, the defeating of Goldberg. Everybody's got to lose at some point in time. I get it, but the way they did it, that should have been a monumental way to beat Goldberg, not with a stun gun to Kevin Nash. David Arquette with the belt, ridiculous. The NWO, hot in 96, hot in 97. When we get to the point where we have too many, we're splitting off into a second faction of the Wolfpack, the Red and Black, as well as the Latino World Order. We become our own running gag. We're caricatures of ourselves now. One more thing was, all of you spoke of the homegrown talent. It's one thing to let Terra Rising go be Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Stunning Steve Austin go be Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Cactus Jack go be Mankind, Cactus Jack Dude Love. It's another, when you've seen that, wouldn't you be more inclined to say, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, even to an extent, all left because of that same very reason, opportunity. And the way Benoit, I know a lot of people don't like to speak of him, he happened, folks. He existed in pro wrestling. Benoit, Guerrero, and Jericho found monumental success under Vince McMahon. And now that I've said things that I think they shouldn't have done, things that I would have done, well, I think some of that plays into it. Push your own talent. During the entire run with Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo, 2 guys were made, so to speak, Diamond Dallas Page and Goldberg.
Booker T.
At a main event level. Everything else, I'm sorry?
Booker T.
Oh, Booker T. Yes, sir. Everything else was either already established with NWA, WCW, or was a WWE, or WWF, ECW, someone that was brought in. And that's just amazing. When they expanded to 3 hours, they had a talent roster of about 60 to 70 guys. And I'm just like that with Raw now. I think your television product should not be as long as your pay-per-view specials. What's the special portion of it? But where I was going with this, things I would have done, I mean, they handed out so much stupid money. I mean, to Kiss, to Master P, goodness, to the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, they spent a lot of Ted Turner's cash and some stuff that crashed and burned. But, you know, and it's funny for millennials or people that weren't around for that time to understand how hot WCW was. It was hotter than WWE. They're the only promotion that's ever done that on a consistent basis that long. And, you know, you get to thinking Nitro on TNT, the video game license deals, the action figures, you know, having wrestlers appear on The Tonight Show, Baywatch, things of that nature. I mean, they were kicking their ass in the ratings. I mean, that's a fact. But it's just mind-boggling that a company, and I think the numbers may be off a little bit, but a company that in 1998 profited somewhere between $14 and $18 million, just 2 years later, the year 2000, had lost almost between 75 and 90 million. You got to throw your hands up at that. And guaranteed contracts, yeah, guys that could just get paid to sit at home and watch March Madness and NASCAR like we do. I think, and like Eddie spoke to sports, that's one reason the National Football League works, I think, because you can get that signing bonus, but if you do not perform, they will cut you in a moment's notice.
Thank God. You left out one pivotal moment in WCW, and you mentioned the timeline going up to 2000. I would be very remiss if I did not mention Bash at the Beach 2000 and the Hogan-Jarrett Russo controversy.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because this is the part that really gets on both sides of the fence in any argument. And before I do this, I'm going to go around the horn on this one. Thank you, guys. And I want to ask, let's be legit, be straight up. And if you want to add like a 30-second tag on why, more than welcome to it. Do you feel that it was legit or a work, the whole scenario between Hogan, Jarrett, Bischoff, and Russo? Shane?
With Hulk Hogan these days, the more that I've seen and I've heard, especially his trial with Gawker, I think everything with Hulk Hogan to some extent is a work. I do not doubt it. And while it's thrown to me, I will say one more thing. The treatment of Ric Flair was embarrassing. When I spoke of slap in the face, having him in a mental institution, if he's your Babe Ruth, you don't treat him like the worst curtain jerker I've ever seen.
Stan Grubb.
You know, sorry, I got sidetracked with what Shane said about Ric Flair. That's absolutely true. If there's something that they should have done absolutely different, then the handling of Ric Flair was atrocious. Eddie, I apologize. Could you please repeat?
Bash of the Beach 2000. Was it real?
Oh, yes, Hulk Hogan. Thank you. I think that with what we know now about both Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan, I think there are elements of it that were indeed a shoot. I think that Hogan blew it out of proportion, and I think that Russo truly felt up against a wall, maybe even in a corner. I think that it's difficult for it not to have crossed the line of, from fantasy to reality, so to speak. I think they actually did have portions of it that were a shoot. The element of it, though, it didn't come off well on pay-per-view, and that just goes right back to the example I said. They should have never, when he did his extension just before he went heel, they should have never given him that element of creative control.
Billy Schmidtke.
It was a work.
Wicked
That's all.
Okay. Wick.
Okay. Let's talk about what we know. We know for a fact going into that night, the original plan was to put the belt on Booker T.
Allegedly.
We know that for a fact. The whole thing was to put the belt on Booker T. Now, Hogan decided to interject himself and decide to pull creative control, and for whatever reason, wanted a title shot that night. Okay, originally it was not supposed to be a title shot. He was going to beat Jarrett, and then Jarrett was going to lose to Booker T. That's how it was going to be. Instead, somehow, Russo's story is that he goes to Hogan and tells Hogan that we're going to give you the title, but you leave with that title, but I'm going to go out and shoot on you and tell you that you're not the real champion. And he says that Hogan's like, oh, that's good. Then we'll have 2 championship titles, and eventually I can put over Booker T. Hogan says that he pulled creative control and shot and then left and then heard later on about what Russo said. Who to believe, I don't know, but Booker T was the one that got screwed out of the boys in that scenario. But the fans, I mean, that was just something. I mean, it played out right there. And both of them, I think it was a worked shoot, but I think they're both liars. So, you know, yeah, Hulk Hogan has a different penis size than Terry Bollea. So, I mean, dear Lord, that tells you everything about the man. I don't know. Hulk Hogan has a different penis size. No. Wicked, Nemesis, and Enoch Cesarian have the same penis size. I'm sorry. That is a lie.
Well, it's good to know. Ladies around the world are now happy to know this.
But Wicked Nemesis had bigger balls than Enoch Tessarian does.
That is true. That's different. That's the stick of fortitude.
Yeah, the line that just got Colin Cowherd fired.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
There you go. I like his show sometime. It's better than Levitard.
But no, don't you say anything about Dan Levitard. Dan Levitard is amazing. And Poppy's
even better. Yeah.
Poppy's funny as hell. I like that now. Hold on. Just, how many different ways can Stugatz not pay attention, though? However, let me go ahead and do this one real quick. There are elements to this that I actually believe are excellently choreographed. There are elements to this that I believe went wrong. Now, I do believe that Ferrara, I think, Shivani, and Hudson did a remarkably smooth job of trying to put things over. But amazingly enough, in this whole circumstance, I genuinely listened. Now, go back and listen to who says what and when from the announcer's table. Scott Hudson did the best, because the one that gave it away, and I still want to say it's Ed Ferrara, who at the table made the comment, but Hulk Hogan got what he wanted, and that's the important thing. Really? I don't know of that many announcers that would have a job the next day after making that kind of comment about the talent, unless it was a work. Go from there. There's footage that has mysteriously disappeared, and I think Russo brought it out on his podcast, was when Hogan was at the top of the ramp, he flipped the belt to the backdrop. But yet when he and Bischoff were walking down the back hallway, a kid who was walking with them had that belt. Somebody went to get that belt real quick. And, we can't leave that there. Now, go from there. Jarrett came out looking like a champ because, he followed orders. He played the game all the way down the line, then came back later in the night. You know, amazingly enough, why would the world title match be put that early on the card, even though the contract match for Scott Hall's contract was that's going to be the main event over a world title match? I still don't get that part. And they still had to go back and do the deciding line for the Sting Vampiro match. Because remember, as they're discussing this, Vampiro returns to the arena. So therein lies the funny part in this particular regard. Because of the placement and the timing of everything, I refuse to believe that I think it may have gotten out of hand behind the scenes, but I will sit back and say this. You can't pay me to believe it was 100% real. No way, no how, forget it. Shifting over for a second, and I've taken point on one, Shane's taken point on one. Stan, I'll turn to you. One you'd like to toss out there for us.
Something I've noticed in the past few weeks, and especially focused on mainstream, and actually focused more to TNA. When a big event happens on television, on a television taping, whether it's a title change, whether it's an injury, whatever the case, a surprise return. Why is it that TNA specifically feels the need to spoil it on their own social media? I don't understand this. I don't think it's best for business, to steal a phrase. I don't think it helps them. Part of the problem they have right now, and this can be said for a lot of companies that put their product on iPay-per-view and so on and so forth. When you tape a program ahead of time, part of the problem you have by taping so much is, one, it's going to get out there. And two, it's going to get out there whether you like it or not. So if you attempt to censor it, it doesn't help you. If you attempt to hide it, it doesn't help you. But at the same time, for a company that needs every bit of attention it can possibly get in the most positive of ways, wouldn't it behoove them, rather than to say the actual scoop, to tease it and to let people tune in to see what happened? I'll start with Schmidtke.
Oh, you know, they put everything out there on Wicked. That was his favorite thing, the dirt sheets. He loves those. So they have to just do something, I guess, to try and beat the dirt sheet people. Because, you know, Murder One is with the Merchants of Death now. Sorry, Wick. Don't get mad at me.
He will.
Don't be mad with me. But I couldn't tell you what the hell they think. You got a woman running the thing that know what the hell she's doing.
Donald Trump would be proud of you for identifying that.
I'm making America great again.
Build a wall. Build a wall, damn it.
One RKO at a time.
36 later, and it's still the same thing.
There you go.
Wicked, what do you think?
Okay. People believe that kayfabe is dead, and companies like TNA treat it as such. They don't believe in kayfabe. They don't practice kayfabe. As Billy actually said, the dirt sheets put it out there, and they're trying to beat them. Instead of hiding it, they want to put everything out there. And that is really bad in our business. I don't believe kayfabe's dead. I believe it's on life support. It's like brain dead, perhaps. Everybody, we've all heard about the studies where they have people that are brain dead that, instead of pulling off life support, they hooked up like Pong, the game. And the people are able to control Pong, the game, even though they're brain dead. So if somebody's in there, it's just, there's a shell of just a drooling mass. Wiggle your big toe.
I'm not even sure what to say to that.
I just have to say this because I was there. I was in the car. Hell, I was driving the car when he read the dirt sheet about Murder One. And the words that came out of his mouth, I don't even think the devil would appreciate it.
That's why I don't read the dirt sheets, man. Why? I have not read a dirt sheet since that moment. Up until then, I was like a little mark. I'd go through and be like, oh, let's see if we made the dirt sheets. All of a sudden, it's like Murder One, the new Merchant of Death. I said, those.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Everything, and I have not read a dirt sheet since then.
I was with him, and I was with Bishop. They're two of my really good friends.
Yes.
And he told me, and I quote, "I'm not going to tell you because I don't want nobody to know yet." And when he read it, he lost his mind. And he goes, well, hell, it's on the sheet here. This is what it is. And just went to cussing.
I figure I should go to a break right about now and let Wick get all those words out of his system.
And then we went to Subway to eat.
There you go.
I think we just lost Stan.
I'm here. I'm just not sure what to say.
Well,
I don't.
Next in rotation.
Right. Let's go to Shane.
Shane, you there?
Oh, I'm here. Oh,
Okay.
as far as hearing one of your content. Eddie, This is a conversation you and I had back in November with a mutual friend. For our local regionalized product, the Peach State Wrestling Alliance, I'm not a fan of putting the show in its entirety on YouTube. There's a reason that we pay David Pierce from Pierce Productions to film it, and that is to sell DVDs, which do move at live events as well as on the website itself, because if you weren't there, if you didn't purchase a ticket in person, that's your only other way to see it. You can't sit either on your phone, your tablet, and just get it for free. I don't see how that benefits a local product, regionalized product. I don't see how it benefits a national product. Why would you give it away on your own social media? Because with so many things demanding our time, as you know, when it started, just me, you, and Stan here earlier tonight, we spoke of football, basketball, baseball, NASCAR, etc. If I can get the results and the overview, so to speak, of what happened, why do I need to spend 2 hours watching the product?
I mean, you don't see when we've got pre-recorded anything else, even the news, for crying out loud. They don't go on Twitter and say, hey, guess what we're going to talk about on the news? We got a great story about blah, 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 and this happened and that happened. No, nobody does. No other avenue pursues this. It drives me nuts. It's the one thing that TNA has always done poorly.
Yep.
Well, one of the many, but just for this one. Eddie, your thoughts?
No company. Look, this is where I sit back and say, for as much as I love and appreciate the internet for what it should be and what it is supposed to be, there are times that you have those that try to corrupt the force and turn it to their own whims to try to get clicks. We live in a society where ratings are no longer ratings run parallel with clicks on social media. If you go and look at the way things are run nowadays, it doesn't matter if it's TNA Wrestling and their social media accounts, WWE and their social media accounts. I mean, a lot of promotions that are more localized and regional, like Global Championship Wrestling, Peach State Wrestling Alliance, MCW, we don't have the elaborate agreements in place with YouTube and with some of the other sites to where we get paid per click. WWE gets paid per click because of AdWords and other things that are run through their site. TNA, same thing. Same thing on social media. Okay, I would love it if, and I use the three promotions with which I do the most work: GCW, Peach State, and AWE. I would love it if everything were in place on the monetization side, where all three of these companies, where Dan Sawyer, where Shane Knowles, and where Josh Wheeler could go up to potential advertisers and say, these are our social media numbers. We bring the heat. We bring the people. Well, let's work out an advertising deal. I'd love to see all three companies lined up with Budweiser, Coca-Cola, Ford, Chevrolet, Ram, whatever. Microsoft or Apple, don't care. I would love to see those three companies lined up with major advertisers because of how strong their social media is. But unfortunately, on our level, we're not able to draw all of that. I mean, okay, if we get 500 subscribers on YouTube, beautiful thing. If we get 2,000 people on Twitter, beautiful thing. And like I say, different companies have different social media outlooks and campaigns. I understand that. I run social media. Trust me, I understand this. But for a company like TNA to go ahead and try to get out in front of everything and not do it the right way, that doesn't just create negativity as far as their business model goes. It creates a downside for their social media front. Because granted, you're going to get some people clicking through and then clicking through again. But you're going to get some people that are going to click through and not click again. Stan? Final thoughts? Your ball's back to you. Your final thoughts on that?
I mean, when you look at the attempt, when you look at the actual intent that they're doing, they're trying very hard to generate a buzz.
Of course.
One of the things you don't see a company like Ring of Honor or Lucha Underground do, and they're very successful in their chosen field, is create a buzz by manufacturing it. It just happens. For example, when we first saw the temple unveiled on Lucha Underground, that was all anyone could talk about. Now, say what you want about the in-ring action. Maybe you're a Lucha fan, maybe you're not. It doesn't matter. The truth of the matter is, It unfolded in front of our eyes, and we didn't have a choice. We had to talk about it because that was the first time we saw it. Now, when we see guys debut or return in WWE, guess what? There is no buzz that's manufactured. It just happens. Albeit sometimes it sucks with Batista. Not the point. Point is, when we see these things happen organically, it generates better interest, it generates a more long-lasting viewership, and it probably will generate what is, in my opinion, going the way of the dodo, ratings. But that's my thought on it. I think it's seriously one of the biggest hindrances for TNA and other companies that do it.
Shane, I got to throw this one at you. How badly did your bracket suffer with Wichita State beating Arizona?
It did not, sir. I had the Shockers into the Elite Eight playing Kansas in that region.
One of my brackets fell tonight. Thank you, Baylor.
You asked. I mean, I had two brackets. Yes, I missed Baylor losing to the Yale Bulldogs. I also missed, goodness, what was it? Oh, I called the upset of Iona. The Gales were not able to defeat Iowa State. And I missed one more. So out of, 16 games, 13 for 16? Not bad.
I'd have to, like I said, I've got to find a way to dig into ESPN.com and see where my three brackets are. Of course, one of them just got negated because Arizona I'd picked to go all the way. From there,
I'll shoot you off there. I'll shoot you an invite to our group that I should have done beforehand.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I've got three brackets up there. One of them died tonight because Arizona got knocked out. One of them I've got Kansas winning, and one of them I've got Michigan State winning it all. No, I have not.
In my three, I have West Virginia, Michigan State, and North Carolina.
I didn't think North Carolina was going to get past the second round for some reason. I saw a major upset on the horizon from that.
While we've been on the air, Providence hit a layup with 1 second remaining to advance past the USC Trojans. So those that were calling for Providence to defeat North Carolina, that is now the matchup come Saturday.
And with 14:45 left in the second half, Gonzaga is currently leading Seton Hall 46-33.
Well, that would screw up my bracket. I'm sitting here saying 13 for 16. Make that 12 for 16 because if this comes to fruition, I had Seton Hall going to the Sweet 16.
I'll see. I actually had Gonzaga beating Seton Hall in this one. I think I've got that on all three brackets, too. For some reason, okay, look, I respect Seton Hall and the history they've got. And in my opinion, they're almost a blue blood. But Gonzaga just makes it a point to make their presence felt somehow or another every other year. But want to go ahead and throw this one out for everybody. We are in a little bit of a hiatus from Ring of Honor. They will be returning live on April the 1st in Dallas, Texas for Super Card of Honor 2-day event. Absolutely incredible. Friday, April the 1st from the Hyatt Regency in Dallas, Texas. Also on Saturday, April 2nd. The Friday show takes place at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. The Saturday show takes place at 2 p.m. Once again, got a couple of weeks before that, but for our friends out in who are going to make their way out there for WrestleMania, I will tell you this. If you get an opportunity to catch either the Friday or the Saturday live events from Ring of Honor, guaranteed it is going to be a great time, and we're going to be covering those events a lot more in depth in upcoming shows here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Going at 22 after the hour on the live side. And I don't know what time it is if you're listening to this during the post-production side, which is called a Beyondcast, podcast, replay, whatever you want to call it. Let's take it all the way full circle, if you will. I'm going to turn the focus. Billy Schmidtke, thoughts, ideas, something you want to lay on the table?
Nope.
Short, sweet, to the point. Here comes the fun.
Yep.
Say what?
Yep.
Wick.
I just want to throw this around the table very quickly. Tyson Dean, great professional wrestler or greatest professional wrestler? Eddie.
Great professional wrestler. He will make his way into the realm of being one of the greatest as his career progresses.
Stan Grubb.
Hey, I'm on Team Tyson. What can I say?
Shay Knowles.
I'm going to catch some heat from this Saturday when I see him if he's listening. Right now, very, very good. Not great, just.
You're off the team. Get the hell off. You're off the
I just lost my privileges. I do not get the fan club newsletter or the home version board game of the Reflection of Perfection.
Lord have mercy. Time is amazing.
Okay.
Schmidtke, I know where you live.
You know, you don't know where I live. And
Greatest.
I really don't care how mad you get at me. I don't like him.
You're off the team.
I've been off the team.
Okay, I know, Shane, I
You
know.
have a new driver. I've been off the team. I don't drive the devil.
Shane, I know you can't do this, but the rest of us can to a great degree. Stan, you've had a chance to hear the upcoming lineup for this coming Saturday in Carrollton. Wick, you know the lineup. I know you can't be there because of extenuating circumstances after the attack back on the 5th. And Schmidtke, I know that you're probably going to be flying somewhere between here and North Carolina. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this out there. Predictions for this balance of the first round. Tommy Too Much versus Kevin Blue. Stan, prediction.
I'm going to say Tommy Too Much.
Schmidtke.
I guess Tommy, because he's funny.
Wick.
I made this prediction last night.
Yes. Actually, you didn't make a prediction.
Yeah, yes, Tommy Too Much. You can't bet against Tommy Too Much. You can't. Kevin Blues had an amazing year. He deserves every accolade that he has gotten. Most improved wrestler, etc. Tommy Too Much, man. If you bet against, you better against old coon ass. You better be recognizable because you know what's going to happen. He's going to mess around. He's going to show up at your house. He's going to sick his 3-legged pit bull, run up a tree on you, America, and then you're all in trouble.
Good Lord.
You know, since we're in March Madness, I'm going to do the unthinkable. And I just set it up, telegraphing it a mile deep. I'm calling for the upset. I have a feeling that the bad blood between Jacob Ashworth and Tommy Too Much is going to spill over into this match. Don't be surprised if Jacob Ashworth actually makes his presence seen. I got a hunch on this one. And no, I don't know. But I'm going to say Kevin Blue wins and advances to the next round. Let's take it. Bill the Butcher versus Chris Spectra. Stan?
Come back to me.
Schmidtke.
Butcher.
Wick.
I told you last night.
I know, but still, that was then. This is now.
Captain Caveman.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I've had the honor of managing this gentleman several occasions. Do not get in his way. He knows one way, it's forward.
That means you're very, very negligent when you see don't see something coming up from behind. Personally, I'm going with Bill the Butcher also. Stan, coming back to you.
Oh, man. I'm going to go ahead and just stick with the crowd and say Butcher.
Now, Shane, I know I kind of bypassed in the previous prediction, but your thoughts about the predictions that we've all laid out there for these first two matches?
Well, like I said, Tuesday back to basics, I'm 50-50 on Tommy Too Much, Kevin Blue. You can make a case for both men. I am more in line to say Bill the Butcher over Chris Spectra, but I do have a question for my necessary evil of a manager, the Wicked Nemesis. Sir, as strongly as you spoke of Bill the Butcher, if he goes on to defeat Chris Spectra, how far do you see him going in this tournament? Because then that would be who Tommy Too Much, if he is successful, would have to face in the round of 8.
Oh, I like Bill. No, come on, let's not be retarded here. Let's go full potato. No offense to Bill. I mean, I like Bill, but Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I mean, Tommy's good. Tommy has wrestled Jimmy Rave, AJ Steele. I mean, there over like a 3-month period, he wrestled 4 different wrestling styles. Bill the Butcher knows how to take that chain, and he wrestles barefoot. He does smell like lactose intolerance, but I'm just saying. Definitely has a ringworm. He definitely has a ringworm, but he does hang out in Alabama, so he might have pinworms. And Tommy, jambalaya. You can't make jambalaya when you got pinworms crawling at your butthole.
Ouch.
What in the blue hell are you talking about?
Dude, I don't know. I'm sitting back. If Wick's commentary on this show does not win us a Webby Award, there's something fixed in the voting.
What he's saying is that some bitch need to take a bath.
Moving on.
There's no easy segue.
No, there's not. Just neck bracing that son of a gun. Romeo, Kyle Matthews. Stan?
Kyle Matthews.
Schmidtke.
If Kyle Matthews can keep his pants together, it's Kyle Matthews.
Wick, reiterate what you said last night.
Yeah. Kyle Matthews. Lord have mercy. You guys amazing.
Don't laugh. I actually, considering the track record these two have together and how well they know each other, and remember, on an earlier episode, Shane imparted the factor of the match that these two gentlemen had a little while back at Peach State. I would not be surprised if this match went to a 20-minute time limit draw. If it does not, because the fact that they know each other that well, they have each other that well scouted. Because remember, you said that you reminded me of the match that they had back at the Jeff Hardy show. But from that vantage point,
March 22nd, 2014. Not to interrupt. Yeah, they came to see the charismatic Enigma, but Romeo and Kyle Matthews stole the show that night. I think the match was around 24, 25 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
No, everybody came to see Ace Haven. Don't lie to everybody.
There you go. Charlotte Flair's little brother. Love you, Ace.
That's the poor man Skeletor. You better leave that boy alone.
Oh, son.
I'm wearing brown skull.
Hey, they've been wearing. He's got matching gear now, so you got to say that's top tier Gray Skull now.
So wait a minute. We with Tommy Too Much, Bill the Butcher, and Ace Haven, I am now thinking Jambalaya, Captain Caveman, and Skeletor.
No, look, I was watching Barbie Life in Dream House with my little girls the other day. Man, he made me Skipper grown up.
Son of a gun. And if it legitimately, I am going to go ahead and say, if it does not go to a 20-minute time limit draw, Kyle Matthews should take the win on this one. I've got the hunch. And let's look at it, because we're drawing heat up one side and down the other. Let's look at it one more time. Tyson Dean, P-Dog. Wick, I'll go to you to reiterate.
Lemon face. Ooh, lime face. Arr. Tyson Dean. I like P-Dog. P-Dog is amazing, man. Posey. Syllabus. Or for Jennifer, syphilis.
There you, damn.
No, Jennifer, he's not. Pete, man, Posey. Everybody should watch Mike Posey. You want to learn how to wrestle? Watch Mike Posey. And then watch Tyson Dean, and you're like, man, I don't want to wrestle.
You watch P-Dog and you watch Tyson Dean, and you sit back and say, I don't want to wrestle because of the fact that you got to live up to that standard.
Man, he's so flexible. He may be the elongated man. I'm telling you. Not voiced by Jeremy Piven. Not voiced by Jeremy Piven, but he may be the elongated man. That is a Justice League Unlimited joke for all the nerds out there. That's my nerdgasm for the night. I thought.
Let's hear it for Ralph Dibney.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I bet you didn't think I knew that.
We can go into comic books before this is over with. You know this, right? Okay, yeah, Schmidtke, Tyson Dean, P-Dog.
P-Dog.
Really? Stan Grubb.
Yes.
This isn't a question, is it? Tyson Dean. Come on, man.
I'm really torn on this one because both guys have excellent upsides. They have virtually no downside as far as their in-ring style and the way that they perform. This match, once again, most of these matches that have been first-round matchups in the quest to be the best tournament could be serious main events anywhere, and that's legit. That's a shoot, kids. I've got to sit back and say that I've got to give the nod, and as much as I hate to do it because I really don't want to pick, I'm going to sit back and say my nod goes to Tyson Dean. He will advance.
Y'all need Jesus.
Shane, your thoughts?
I have a question. I will take Tyson Dean too, ever so slightly. With the wild card out there, Simon Sermon, Stan Schmidt may not be familiar, what was determined by Bill Behrens by virtue of winning a triple threat match over Sal Renardo and Jimmy Rave there are 17 entrants into a 16-man field. In the event that there is a double countout, a double disqualification, or a time limit draw, Simon Sermon assumes that part of the bracket. Whatever those two competitors, he automatically is, let's just say if it were Tyson Dean and T-Dog, both got counted out, the winner would face Kyle Matthews and Romeo. Instead of a bye, Simon Sermon takes that part. So I'm just curious, if none of that happens in the opening round or the Elite Eight or the Final Four, Simon Sermon is automatically going to advance to the finals and make it a triple threat. So curious on where you think Simon Sermon might finally be inserted, no pun intended, into the tournament. Or does he go ahead and make it to the finals because none of this ever happened?
Wait, am I supposed to say something?
I thought he was asking Stan.
That's what I thought too. You know, Stan? You're right. I don't have a whole lot of familiarity with Mr. Sermon. And I do think you meant the pun, by the way, of where he'd be inserted, sir.
Actually, the bigger pun was the fact that you called him a mister.
Yes.
Should I call him Miss?
It's Miss Sermon.
Wick,
I'm trying to be nice.
Wick says ma'am.
Yes, I do.
He
wants me
does.
call him Sermon.
I swear to God, he calls him ma'am.
You know, because I don't have a huge familiarity with him, I really don't know if I can really give a good answer for the question.
He is a former two-time Heritage champion. He's one of 5 in the field. So I've got to, if he makes it to the finals without having to have wrestled 3 other opponents like everyone else, you would think just being fresh time would be on his side.
That's a definite advantage to not have to compete multiple times in a night. It certainly does give him the advantage.
Can I be the special guest referee for the Pandora America match?
Let me say something really quick I hope Simon Sermon, I hope there's no countouts. I hope everybody makes the finals, because let me tell you something. What we are all skipping around is Simon Sermon is money.
Yeah.
I hope he makes it to the finals, because you know what that means?
We lost you on the sentence.
More people there. You know what that means? More money in our pockets. Simon Sermon, I hope he makes it to the finals. I hope it's just him in the finals, because he is money, and then that means more asses in the seats, and that means more money in our pockets. That's what I'm saying. Just go ahead. I hope everybody makes it, no time limit draws or anything. I hope he goes straight to the finals, because he is money and people pay to see him win. And then when he's a bad guy, people pay to see him lose. He is straight money.
And I will go ahead and turn the tide back over to my tag team partner, Shane Knowles. Go ahead and wrap up with this part with the show information and how tickets can be gotten.
You can call us at 770-328-1162 or 770-328-2251 to purchase tickets. Also available via email, ewafanbase@yahoo.com. And to address your question, Eddie, I don't think, and this is not an insult, I don't think you would be impartial as an official. And as we know, an official must uphold the highest of integrity.
I am perfectly capable of being impartial, because Pandora can kick me in the head and America can military press me.
So you take a beating from both then. Okay.
Well, anybody can kick you in the head, Eddie. You're kind of short.
You can't get your leg up that high.
Yeah, I could.
Want to bet? Depends on how much you're getting paid.
Hey, Eddie, can I shoot one more?
Bring it on. Bring it on.
This is normally the Saturday portion. Question for all of us. Who do you see currently, either on the WWE roster or on the NXT roster, that within 3 years could be a main event player, and I mean at that level of a Triple H, of a John Cena, a Hulk Hogan, at that realm, not mid-card? They don't have to be the face of the company, but a main event player with sustainability like a Randy Orton, et cetera, and I will throw the caveat, you cannot say Seth Rollins.
Who are you going to first?
Let's start with Schmicky on this.
The only person I can say is Kevin Owens.
He's already on the main roster.
He said main roster NXT. Did you not listen?
I thought the question was who in the next 3 years from NXT.
3 years.
Right.
He's right, Eddie. Yeah, either on the on the main roster or NXT. And of course, I mean, I know booking and having the company's rocket up your butt is a huge factor, but I meant just based on their work, their progression, either on the main roster or NXT, who's going to be, let's just say in 3 years if John Cena were gone, if Randy Orton were gone, who on the main roster in NXT is going to be elevated or has all the tools to be in that position 3 years from now, 2019?
Oh, I'll be dead by then anyway, so it don't matter.
But I like your Kevin Owens there, Schnicky. We'll fight Kevin fight while you're gone. So I like that.
Next
I
victim.
do hang out with the Wicked Nemesis, so I ain't gonna make it much longer.
There you go. Next in rotation.
Dan, how about you, sir?
I'll take two picks here. From NXT, it's you got to say Finn Balor if he can stay healthy. His high-risk style does not work in his favor, but they've created a character with the Demon that can, if done right, can easily step into that role and become almost Undertaker-like. I'm not going to say exact because there's nobody going to replace the Undertaker, but they've created a character with the Demon that Finn Balor can not just make money for the company, but become almost a Cena level. So yeah, I'd say Finn Balor from NXT. From the main roster, it's a little more difficult to really delineate who could really step up to that next level. I think we've seen a lot of disappointments with guys like Dolph Ziggler.
Bad booking.
And you know, I mean, these are guys that are definitely worth the time invested, but on the microphone they fall short. We've seen it time and time again. I think the next main face of the company, honestly, is going to be Dean Ambrose. Unless what I've read recently is true, and that Bray Wyatt is finally going to see a bit of a rocket treatment after his back gets better. Turns out, by the way, from Roadblock, the news came out that Bray Wyatt has been nursing a back injury, and that's actually the reason his match was changed, which could probably be the reason we see him in a limited capacity at Mania, which is really, really disappointing.
Wicked Nemesis, your thoughts, sir?
I see several people that in the next 3 years may be that level talent. Finn Balor, Cesaro. I think Cesaro is getting very good. Also Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. I mean, these guys are ready. I mean, they're ready. And then you have guys like Dean Ambrose, as Grubby said. I think that also there are a few people that will surprise us. I definitely hope Bray Wyatt will, but you never know. It's the WWE. It could be one person that is just that we really don't know, and then boom, they're there. But I definitely think that those are just a handful of guys that will. I think that they're right there, ready to go. But I'm hoping for Dark Horse and maybe somebody else as well.
Eddie, I'll throw a two-parter to you on this one.
Go for it.
Out of the ones you may pick from NXT as well as the main roster, is it possible that in 3 years it's someone that we don't know of or that we know of that is not in NXT or the main roster currently?
With the way that WWE has been, Hunter in particular, been scouring different parts of the universe for talent and listening to his road agents, I genuinely feel that it's a case of it could be somebody we haven't seen yet. Or it could be somebody who is down on the roster right now who is in one realm and could be repackaged with a new character and brought up to the main roster. I agree with Finn Balor. One that I thought had the most potential of anybody on the current roster was Baron Corbin. But unfortunately, I keep hearing upside, downside, and the downside's higher than the upside right now, which is sad. The kid's got the size, the kid's got the look, the kid's got the work, the kid's got the microphone. He is one of the people right now in NXT that could genuinely come to the main roster, and if the character is written correctly, he could rock it. Apollo Crews is one that is on my mind because he is incredibly over, but right now, considering what's happened with New Day, considering Titus O'Neil, Darren Young, I don't know how well Crews would flourish in the current main roster. There is one other that really just sits on my brain, so to speak, that I think will just blow up when he gets to the main roster if he is pushed properly and his character executed correctly. Chad Gable. This kid's got just about all of the above. He just needs a little bit more experience and get him moved into the main roster. I read somebody's statement earlier today that Chad Gable will be the next Kurt Angle. That is a heavy load to put on somebody's head. It really is. As far as tag teams go, oh God, the Revival is incredible. Yes, I'm on that bandwagon, have been from day one. But WWE is so fickle when it comes to, and I notice all of this left Hideo Itami out, Kenta out of the equation all over again. Because when he comes back healthy, I think that he's going to be a major player in this thing. And of course, don't forget Samoa Joe, currently sitting on the NXT roster.
Eddie, if I could interject for a moment.
Go ahead.
You mentioned the Revival, and then you mentioned Chad Gable. If we're seeing what I think we're seeing with tag team wrestling just in general, it is feasible right now that American Alpha could be the next big main event tag team.
True.
I really believe that. I agree with you on Gable, but I think Jason Jordan is no slouch as well.
Oh, no, he's not.
That tag team has so much unlimited potential that they could easily be as big, if not bigger, than Edge and Christian or the Hardys. I wouldn't necessarily put them at Dudley level because the Dudleys have just done everything and been everywhere. But they've definitely got the potential.
Agreed, 100%. Coming over to the main roster, yes, I genuinely believe Cesaro has been so poorly written. For some reason, they just cannot seem to get it right when it comes to him. Bray Wyatt, I love what they've done, but unfortunately, we got to get him healthy. I find it ultimately hilarious that when it comes down to it, you've had people such as Damian Sandow who had potential. Curtis Axel had potential. It's just, and for me, the mishandling of Dolph Ziggler after the concussions was just horrible. He should have already had another title run. Because, and I guess it's just the fact that every once in a while you still get to the point where the front office is like, no, it's a flash. It won't last long. But when his music hits, I swear, the crowd response is incredible. 9 times out of 10. But the thing about it is, they say, I don't know what happens behind the scenes. I don't know who says what. But I'm just going to go ahead and say, my pick to be the individual who will probably eclipse John Cena and Ric Flair and Triple H for most WWE championships won in a career once they get everything put in place can only be one person. And I legitimately feel that this individual has the talent and the ability to pull this off to get multiple title runs. And that, my friends, can only be El Torito. Mark my words.
Well, to close it out, I will say both Wicked and Eddie stole Cesaro from me. That's the catch of going last. And the one thing I think of Cesaro, he has the size they're looking for, the work rate. And I really hate to see an injury for anyone, but especially Cesaro. Right when he got injured, if you notice, all those signs that were showing up at the crowd, that was an organic thing. That's not something WWE pushed. It felt like it was a movement. I'm not going to say a Daniel Bryan type movement because we don't know the legs got cut off before they even begin to fully develop. I'm going to throw an outsider name for you, and I think if he leaves TNA, he's the one guy on TNA that could make that splash, and that is Ethan Carter III in WWE. His look, the way he carries himself, I could just see him on Raw or on pay-per-views for a long, long time, EC3 at the forefront of WWE programming. And if I went down to NXT, I agree wholeheartedly with Stan about Finn Balor. The unique factor. That no one will ever replace The Undertaker, but as far as that different guy, the one that when you see all the kids, merchandise, whether it be lunchboxes or beach towels, Undertaker stood out among through the years with the Hulk Hogan's and the Roddy Pipers and later generations with Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, even John Cena, CM Punk. Finn Balor could be that unique guy that stays in the forefront for a long, long time. So I'm going to say Balor, Cesaro, and EC3.
Well, the current incarnation of EC3, I can do that. But remember, the kid who did play Derek Bateman was originally in part of NXT and WWE, and they let him go. And that was the best thing that could have ever happened to him.
Wholeheartedly agree. He's one guy that left the WWE that got that much better, and we see so many that are released by WWE in the developmental stages that just move on to other things in life. Ethan Carter III made himself much better.
Notice none of us have said AJ Styles.
Wicked did.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I said Samoa Joe, Cesaro, AJ, of course, Finn. I mean, these guys, Dean Ambrose. I mean, there's several guys that are just right there, just ready, almost ready.
I have to throw this one out before we go to last call. And Schmidtke's phone battery died, so he would be coming back to aggravate us one more time. But Billy, thank you, brother. We appreciate you calling in. I throw this one out there. We talked about the demise and the reasoning behind the demise of World Championship Wrestling, WCW. And we're all in accord and agreement that competition can and normally does breed excellence. Has WWE, under its own umbrella, managed to cultivate its own competition in NXT? Shane?
To some extent, yes, but so much more with the WCW competition breeds you to get better in every aspect, because with WCW, it's something they had no control over. With NXT, in my opinion, still at the end of the day, that's Triple H's baby. It's still owned by WWE, completely different look and feel to the product. But that is their competition. NXT is WWE's competition because it's on their own very network. I'm not ashamed to say that I know several people that I work with at my shoot job that watch NXT each and every week and do not tune into Raw.
Stan?
I think with NXT, what we're seeing is the difference between Vince McMahon and Triple H on a promoting level. One has his finger on the pulse very easily of the wrestling fan. The other one thinks he knows what's best for wrestling or for sports entertainment. Is he fostering his own competition? I think so in a lot of ways, but I think Vince isn't sold on NXT, which is why we see guys like Tyler Breeze get the nod and then fall off so quickly. And that's kind of a detriment. So you can only half say that it's competition, because eventually it's going to catch up with Vince, and if he doesn't buy into his own product, it's just not going to go anywhere. Unfortunately, until Vince McMahon dies, competition, even between NXT and Raw and SmackDown, is a pipe dream for a lot of us fans.
Wick?
NXT is, I guess they are competition, but it's more of a breeding ground. I mean, it is Triple H's baby, but it is one of those things that they just happen to outshine on some behalfs. The main roster, I guess. I know that kind of sounds bad, but
no, you're right.
NXT is what wrestling has evolved to. Whether Raw wants to admit it, whether SmackDown whether Vince, whatever. NXT is the best wrestling going today. Period. I'm sorry. Every time I see something out of NXT, and I do not have the WWE Network, but every time I see something out of it, it's just like, oh yeah, they had a power bomb off the top rope with like a cross neck breaker. But you know what? It was the finish.
Yeah.
It wasn't the double down.
It wasn't the double down.
Ring of Honor.
Lucha Underground.
They're the company that can finish off with a small package over in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Oh, boobs. Sorry.
Now I've got to sit back and say, and before I weigh in my part of this one, I've got to sit back and say Lucha Underground is damn sure appointment television in my book. End of discussion on that one.
Oh, you got that right.
Yes, they have managed to create their own competition. Listen and read. You will see what I mean. For years, you heard individuals in our industry say, I want to work for the Fed. My ultimate goal is to be in the Fed. In this day and age, March 17, 2016, you have people who are banging down the door to get to NXT. They don't mention the Fed nearly as much as they used to. They mention NXT. How many people have we spoken to? How many people are in our circles as far as pro wrestling goes that have said, I'm going to move down to Florida, that way I can be closer to it? They're not moving to Stamford, Connecticut. They're moving to Orlando, to Kissimmee, to Tampa, to try to get a tryout with NXT and WWE. But they're saying NXT first. Apollo Crews, good friend of a show that previously aired here on the BR Network. When he found out that he was going to get picked up on NXT, his reaction was, I'm going to Disney World. That same caliber. Like Peyton winning the Super Bowl. Congratulations. Happy retirement. Don't chase any more girls from Tennessee.
Brock Osweiler's a moron.
Yeah, I know.
But he's $72 million richer. So, whatever.
Amen. How he got that number, I damn sure don't know. But people are talking. Wrestlers, referees, announcers. You know, for years I sat here and said Vince can't afford me. But yet I also sat back and I have recently sat back and said I would kill for the option or for the opportunity to work at NXT. Why? In my opinion, it's better. So yes, in a certain realm, even though they're under the same corporate umbrella, even though it started out being their feeder system and developmental, WWE created, thank you Triple H, Regal, Albert, Adam Pearce, everybody who's been down there, Dusty, thank you. You did create the competition. Sad part is, a lot of the main roster still just doesn't get it. And yeah, that's my side of the coin. Somebody just brought up something a second ago. There is one thing that I want to hit before we go into last call. We're going to 4 minutes before the top of the hour on the live side. For our friends who are mixed martial arts fans, and I wanted to say this earlier, we led off with MMA. We're going to wrap it, kind of, sort of. This Saturday, March 19th, UFC Fight Night on Fox Sports 1. Main event in the heavyweight category. The Super Samoan, Mark Hunt, taking on the 10th ranked heavyweight. You can almost call him legendary. Actually, both of these guys are hitting that status. Frank Mir. Remember, Frank beat Rock first. Ankle lock. You look. These two going at it is going to be a DVR alert, a VCR alert. It doesn't matter. Find a way. If you're not at home to catch this live on FS1, record it. Plain and simple, record it. Okay. It's going to I've looked at it, and I'm going to be honest with you. There are 3 matches on the main card that really have my attention. But as far as it goes, Mark Hunt and Frank Mir going at it, I think this is going to be an excellent match, and it's going to be worth watching. Shane, any thoughts on it real quick?
No, sir. I will allow the others to defer. I just enjoy going along for the ride.
Stan?
Does Mark have a brother named Mike?
No.
All right.
I don't know.
Just curious. Frank Mir is a legit star and a legit fighter. I don't know a whole lot about Mark, but I know that Frank Mir is not somebody to be toyed with.
Neither is Mark.
I wouldn't want to stand at the opposite end of an octagon with either one of them, but I certainly would not want to mess with Frank Mir.
Wick?
Tyson Dean.
Now, before we went on air, and I'm going to throw this one around the horn also real quick, I cannot believe, after everything that has occurred, that the Denver Broncos have picked up Mark Sanchez? Please, folks, just because we have one quarterback formerly from USC that's actually doing something halfway decent in the NFL doesn't mean you have to go screw it up and pick up another one. Shane, your thoughts?
Yeah, was Matt Barkley not available? That's my first thoughts. I mean, Mark Sanchez has not been a relevant NFL player in over 4 seasons. In fact, it's one thing for Peyton Manning to walk away. He goes out, with the storybook ending, riding off into the sunset. The sheriff rides off, turns in his badge, a Super Bowl champion. It's another to allow the gentleman that you drafted in the 3rd round or the 2nd round 4 years ago to walk for nothing. And Brock Osweiler, and I spoke with you about this off air before we went live. I can't remember ever, and I've been watching the NFL for 3 decades, I cannot remember a Super Bowl winning team losing both its starter and its backup quarterback, and then basically, I mean, at this point, why doesn't Denver bring back Tim Tebow? I hate to kick the tires on that one, but really? Mark Sanchez? And it's not like they have a pick that's going to get them one of the top quarterbacks, because as the Super Bowl champion, you pick last in the 1st round.
Okay, I will let that one go, but Shane, there's an actual standing rule on this station. Anybody who mentions that person in my presence has to buy lunch. So you didn't know, so I'll let it go. You don't mention T.
I was going to say I've already footed one deal this month.
So. Pop! Pop, 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 pop. Stan Grubb.
I don't know what anybody would think about picking up Mark Sanchez. That's a huge mistake. Why don't you just pick up RG3 while you're at it?
Or Johnny Manziel.
I guess they're trapped in Baltimore mode, thinking it doesn't matter who their quarterback is as long as their defense is dominant. I can't say I blame them. Their defense was dominant against my team, and it was frustrating as hell to watch Cam Newton just get thumped all night long. There's not a lot of free agent quarterbacks out there right now to choose from, but, I mean, gosh, I think I may have actually picked RG3 over Mark Sanchez. I don't understand the pickup at all.
Except for the fact that RG3 is injury prone because he's too reckless.
No, Sanchez is just a poor quarterback, so, I mean.
I was going to pitch this from the stand and close my thoughts on it, and I know this will tickle Eddie's fancy. If you're Denver, why don't you offer that pick at the bottom of the 1st round, number 31 or number 30 overall, to the Cincinnati Bengals for A.J. McCarron?
Hello. I'm in. Son of a bitch, I'm in.
That's probably the smartest move. I don't understand. I don't know what Elway's plan is for this offseason, but it's clear that nobody has a thought process on a quarterback right now. I don't get it. I mean, why would you let Osweiler go? Why would you not pony up as much money as possible, even if it's on the back end?
Von Miller.
What's that?
Von Miller.
Yeah, but just because your defense is dominant, this is not a defensive league anymore. Defense will win you championships, but you still got to score points.
How much are they paying? How much is that contract to Von Miller right now against the cap?
Oh, I don't remember.
Shane,
the contract's heavy.
Didn't you say that it was only like $5 million left?
Yeah, I think they've got about $5 to $6 million left in cap space. That Von Miller deal, which isn't finalized, is going to be upwards of $14 to $16 million per.
And Miller's worth it.
I agree, he's worth it, but jeez. I don't know. I would have called Derek Anderson before I called Mark Sanchez.
Wick, your thoughts?
I haven't watched any football this year. I didn't watch the Super Bowl for the first time that I can remember. But I will say that the A.J. McCarron deal sounds very good.
Yeah, it does.
But have you guys ever seen Mark Sanchez and how he holds that clipboard? And that guy's great with hand signals.
He's also running good at running into the posterior of his offensive line.
Yes,
Butt fumble. Butt fumble.
I was just about to say that. One of my favorite plays of all time.
Butt fumble.
You know, I hate the Jets.
Michelle Beadle, I love you.
And I hate the Buffalo Bills. So,
Well, you're a Dolphins fan. Of course you do.
of course, exactly. Why in the hell are we in the AFC East? We should be in the AFC South. But I hate them.
Folks,
They had the Panthers in the West for a while.
That's true. Folks, as we start to head for the Radio Ranch on this Thursday night, making our way into Friday morning, we have a little tradition on the Beyond Ringside family of shows where everybody gets a fair shot all the way across the board for final thoughts and what's on their brain. It's called Last Call. Shane Knowles.
Well, I hope everyone had a good St. Patrick's Day. Wicked said he didn't watch the Super Bowl for the first time in ages. I can't remember a day that I really didn't do anything Irish or Gaelic related. I actually took off work today and watched March Madness tournament, caught up on some housework that needed to be done. I just didn't know if you guys did anything for St. Patty's Day along the way. Green beer, anything like that.
I hugged a cute redheaded Irish stripper. I was honest.
Well, at least he's honest. We'll give him that.
Did I just totally stall the world on that?
Well, did she make the cries of the old Irish Gaelic folklore figure, the Banshee? That's all I want to know.
No.
And you should have paid more, Eddie.
No, but I'm going to go ahead and do this one, though. She got my attention all over again by doing two particular songs in this order, and I dare anybody to make the connotation or miss the connotation. Black Sabbath and AC/DC back-to-back. She did Iron Man and War Machine. And I thought...
you know, and you asked for last call, you brought it up. It's a shame to see what's happened with AC/DC. Burying stories out here last week, canceled the tour. Lead singer Brian Johnson apparently was going deaf in his ears. Now he's saying that's not the case, and they just wanted to move on with a new singer after almost 3 decades, him replacing Bon Scott.
Yep.
He is now no longer a member of the band. He's just a hired gun. It reminds me of the Mark Herndon situation with the country music group Alabama. I'm like, really? If they're looking for a new singer at this day and age? But all I've got to say, there were some friends of mine that were going to go to the AC/DC show last week in Phillips Arena. They were disappointed, and I said, hey, for those who are about to attend, we reimburse you.
Nice.
Winner.
Score.
That was yes.
Shane just geared... Say again, Wick?
You just broke the internet. Somebody play Shane's music out so we can get flagged.
I don't have Everlong on the computer right now. I'm on a new computer over here, and I don't even have that damn sound effect loaded either. Sorry, Shane.
No problem.
It's supposed to be plugged in or something.
It will live in infamy.
Yes, it will. I'll get that one plugged in as soon as I can, too. Because I miss hearing that one. Was this supposed to be plugged into something?
My personal favorite.
There you go. Either that or the James Storm soundbite that we have heard lately, which I've wanted to play for Vince McMahon for the last 3 weeks on Raw. You had a whole night to come up with sit there and think of a promo, and that's the only crap you could come up with? I think that's Wick's favorite also, because he stole it. Excuse me. He prominently procured it at a live event while he possessed a microphone.
Yes, I did. Don't come with a lame promo.
There you go. Stan Grubb, last call.
You know what? You brought up promos. You're going to miss, and then I'm going to miss, and I'm going to miss. Oops. Wait, that's not what I meant. Shane O'Mac probably should have thought and calmed himself down a little bit more before standing. Now, I'll give him credit. He was standing face-to-face with The Undertaker. But that's your high-profile main event caliber match for WrestleMania. You can't afford to botch that. Can't afford it. But it was funny. You're going to hit me, and then I'm going to miss.
I hate to interject. You talk about botch. Did you guys catch unfortunately, the injury for Neville, but the way Chris Jericho handled that situation with referee Charles Robinson?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
Good.
How awesome is Chris Jericho to be able to take an opportunity like that and turn it into money? I was impressed.
Same here.
Did not see it, meant to watch it, have not seen it in any capacity. I know, Wick, you haven't seen it either, have you?
I definitely want to say something about that. Jericho did exactly what a vet should do, and Charles Robinson did exactly what a referee should do. And then they talked it out. Both of them were in the right. You take it home. When someone's that injured, just take it home. I mean, who cares about the finish? That can be fixed. But Charles Robinson, he did disqualify him for being pushed legitimately, and they were both in the right. But yes, that is a veteran. That is a veteran referee, and that is a veteran worker doing exactly what they need to do. And they will finish the match. Unlike some people who break their fingers and referee called the match. What a...
And while you're at it, I'll turn it over to you, Wick. Final thoughts.
Everybody needs to take a step back. I know there's a divide with all of the politicalness that's going on. I think we all need to take a deep breath and just realize that if you're ever feeling that you're having a bad day, if you ever feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, just watch a Jim Cornette shoot interview. Make your help you. That's my advice to everybody out there. Watch a Jim Cornette shoot interview. And if you don't feel better, and if you don't laugh at least one time, you may be my mom and you may be Satan, but anybody knows my mom's like, yep. But go out to VFW Fairgrounds this Saturday. Peach State. I'm telling you, this is an event. It's not a wrestling show. It is a wrestling event to its utmost. And go and find out why they are the premier wrestling company in the state of Georgia. And that's why we wrestle.
There you go. I made the statement Tuesday night in my side of the coin, and I'm going to stand beside that comment right now as I've been watching the events unfold on Monday Night Raw and on SmackDown, primarily on Raw, due to the factor of how things have been progressing in the Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon storyline, and then adding The Undertaker to the mix. Vince McMahon, who is normally money on a microphone, he's not silver, he's not gold, he's pure platinum. He is the Hope Diamond under normal circumstances on a microphone. I will sit here and I will tell you God's honest truth from my perspective. Vince McMahon is trying too hard. He is overworking the dramatic side of the storyline. When Vince is being Vince, he's on it and he's money. But I've got to sit back and say this. It's losing its luster because Vince is taking it too dark dramatic. At least that's my perspective on this. They've got a couple of weeks. They got a couple of weeks to turn it around, or they've got a couple of weeks to push it that much further, and please pardon the euphemism, into the grave. And yeah, that is my side of the coin. Shane Knowles, shameless plugs.
Oh, you can check me out. You can email me directly, ShaneKnowles@gmail.com. Also on Twitter @Shane Knowles. I'm also on Facebook. That is Knowles, Noles, as in one half of the Seminoles that play for Florida State down in Tallahassee. Not the KNOW. LES is often mistaken for.
Stan Grubb, shameless plugs.
Don't forget Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. The Triple Threat returns to Sunday nights. Corner to corner, Sunday night. Enjoying our new time slot. Some say we were meant for that time. Catch me on Twitter at Stan from Krypton. Oh, and by the way, I'm so pumped for Batman vs. Superman. Tomorrow is day 3 of 8 Days of Soups with my 3rd Superman shirt. Thank you.
Wicked Nemesis, shameless plugs.
You can find Tyson Dean on
Pop
this Saturday. Batman v Superman is going to be terrible. Marvel.
Oh, you take that back.
Civil War. Spider-Man's Eyes. You can check out Steve Ditko from 1967. Look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man. I'm so excited for that. I cannot tell you guys that. You can catch me at Wicked Nemesis on Twitter, the To Be Determined Show, the Sevenfold Saints, the Merchants of Death, and the Wicked Nemesis. And the Lucky Charms still. All have Facebook fan pages. Give us a like and a share. If you don't want to, we understand, because we're not everybody's cup of tea, because everybody's cup of tea do not have buttholes in them. Also, Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Check out myself, Eddie, Angie, and Clyde Braddock. We're not for the faint of heart. We do put our big boy and big girl pants on. We speak in a very foul language. We usually insult a bunch of people, and they can't beat me up, so I totally shoot on everybody that I know can't beat me up. So you can check us out, and also Stan Grove, Corner to Corner. And it's nice to have somebody in prime time. You know why they're in prime time? Because they don't cuss. I'm in late rotation because I cuss all the time. I'm a foul person. Does anybody get this? Hello?
We get see, because of it.
Is this thing on?
Normally Wick would go for a mic drop right there, but last time he did a mic drop, he actually dropped Mike way too hard on his head. But
No, leave me alone.
Okay. Folks, let's run it down real quick. Live programming will resume this Sunday, March 20th, Beyond Ringside Live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Central. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, it will be Corner to Corner. And at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, the Midnight Black Mass with Reverend Dan Wilson and Andrew Alexander. We'll pick it back up on Tuesday, March 22nd with GCW Radio, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, it will be Back to Basics on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. And, of course, the 23rd will be the To Be Determined Show, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. The Beyond Ringside Shooters Gallery will return in its regular time slot on Saturday, March 26th, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. BeyondRingside.com. I have been doing updates like a big dog, so get a chance to. The media page, working on catching up. And, of course, YouTube.com/users. Just screw it. Look for Beyond Ringside over on YouTube as well. For me personally, at Fast Eddie Lane, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Google+, FastEddieLane.com. MySpace. Did I say Facebook? Yeah, screw Facebook. Facebook, too. Like I said, this Friday night, looking forward to seeing everybody in Alabaster at Buffalo Wild Wings in Alabaster, 9 p.m. start time. Shane, real quick, before we head, do you have a off the top of your head, off-the-cuff trivia question you want to throw? Or do you want to, was it Stan and I who both tried to answer the other one from the other night?
Yes, the March Madness question.
Okay, sorry, never mind. Got another one real quick?
Pick a category, sir.
Let's go music.
Ah, crap.
Music. What was the first heavy metal band to put an album #1 on the Billboard Top 100 Albums chart? They were the first band in the genre of metal to do so.
Wick,
Taylor Dane.
Son of a bitch. He said Taylor Dane. I knew he would.
Love will lead you by. Okay.
At least he didn't say Rick Astley.
Oh, you're out of your mind. Steve Winwood.
Mike and the Mechanics?
That's going to be my new interest music. Valerie are back in the highlights again. feeling.
Stan, got a guess?
Debuted. I'm gonna say Black Sabbath.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say debut. Yeah, I mean, what was the first metal band to put an album #1 on the Billboard 100 charts? It was. I don't think it was their debut album. It may have been. And let me say this, when I give you the answer, if you don't guess it correctly, some may bemoan the fact that they are listed as metal, but they are.
The Rolling Stones?
No, sir.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, because I know that it wasn't the Black Album by Metallica or Ride the Lightning, because it was actually a little bit sooner than that. My gut instinct, because the fact that Billboard often has a tendency to run right along the Grammys as far as being totally irrelevant when it comes to hard rock and heavy metal music, I believe they actually presented a Grammy award to Judas Priest 10 years after an album was made, created, and released. So, yeah, I know. So it's either going to come down to Todd Rundgren, Dave Mason, or possibly even the Doobie Brothers, because Billboard does mess that up on occasion.
The Doobie Brothers.
I'm gonna say Judas Priest.
No, but you are close, sir.
Twist Sister.
Quiet Riot.
It is getting much closer. There we go.
Quiet Riot?
Yes, Mental Health.
Quiet Riot, 1983. First metal band to chart an album #1 in the country.
Come on, feel the noise.
Now, also,
Riot. She was saying Quiet Riot like 17 times. I was like, Twisted Sister. She's like, Quiet Riot, Quiet Riot.
and actually, I got to give credit where credit is due, because for music historians, you will be able to sit back and say, remember, there was a hybrid, because a band called Slade, which was one of the first mainstream rock bands to ever incorporate a live violin/fiddle into their performances, also contributed greatly to Quiet Riot.
I'm going to throw this one out here, a bonus for all of you. Who is the only artist, the only solo artist to have a #1 hit in 5 different decades?
Stan, you're up.
Michael Jackson.
That is close.
Wick.
Bill Collins.
Ooh.
I have to recuse myself because, Shane, you've asked me that question before and I know the answer.
Oh, that's right. I have given that one to you.
Angie said Elton John.
Elton John is the answer to another one of my favorite trivia questions. Who was the only person to have a top 40 single 31 consecutive years? And that was Elton John. 31 consecutive years he released a song that went top 40.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Go ahead and toss
By
him
the
the
way, if I
answer.
give you the decades, it's the decades of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s.
Ugh.
And no, Wick, it's not Justin Bieber.
No. I only talk about
It's not Quiet Riot either.
Nor is it
Oh, that's good to
Hanson.
know.
It's not Hanson either.
There goes Bob.
Where's the love? Shane, the answer is?
Cher.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
Yep.
My next guest was gonna be Travis Tritt. So
He didn't do the.
what? Ricky Van Shelton.
Where is RVS the third? Yes, sir.
I'm surprised Wick didn't say Crystal Gale. Don't it make my brown eyes blue?
Oh, our love is on the fault line.
Oh, I got to give you this one real quick. If you get a chance to, and while we're still, as we're heading for the wrap-ups, I've actually become enamored all over again with The Voice, especially the blind auditions that took place a couple of weeks ago. There is a young lady, Allison, oh God, any other time I could remember her name, because I actually remember her as a child star. She was the lead actress in the kids movie Curly Sue. She came on The Voice and did a version of Blue Bayou that absolutely destroyed it, got a 4-chair turnaround. Also, there is another young lady, Two First Names, Sarah something, did a rendition of Where the Boys Are, Four Chair Turn, and if you get a chance to, you will become fans of these songs all over again, especially Allison and Blue Bayou, just absolutely incredible. Folks, we're going to head for the Radio Ranch. Thank you for hanging with us on this edition of the Shooters Gallery. Billy, sorry about the phone, dude. For the SS Schmidtke, Billy Schmidtke, there's always something we could say, but we're normally not going to say it during right now, even though it is late night. We're still sticking with hashtag HellDamnAss. For my tag team partner on the Shooters Gallery, Shane Knowles.
It's always a pleasure, even when it's not. But this was not one of those occasions. I'll allow you to figure it out.
For Corner to Corner for Stan Grubb.
You're going to hit me, and I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, because I'm Shane O'Mac.
From the To Be Determined show, Wicked Nemesis.
For my favorite people to talk to, and Schmidtke, thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you guys for having me on. And Tyson Dean for president.
Anytime I try to throw to her, she is never there. But I have a feeling, since it's going to come as a surprise, for his much better half, Angie Nemesis.
Well, I'm just going to say Cthulhu for president. Nobody cares.
I am.
Angie's just sitting back saying, "I told you it was Elton John, damn it."
No, she said it was Quiet Riot.
Yes.
17 times. I heard that part. Now, as previously stated, kids, you have the announcer, you have the promoter, you have the fan, you have the security, you have the manager, and you have the nurse hiding off in the distance screaming, "Quiet Riot, damn it." I am the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Lane. Until next time, thanking you for going beyond ringside. For now, the Shooters Gallery is closed. Bye for now.